Um, this will be available to all of you, so you can watch it later. And know that we are just so excited that you are here. So welcome to this beautiful Freedom House Summit. So my name is Kira Polson. I am the founder, the CEO of Freedom House Publishing Co. Freedom House Publishing Co. I am so lucky that this is my work, that this is my job. I get to help people birth sacred books. I get to help people learn how to channel their books. And then we publish them and we bring them to the earth. And I was lucky enough to work with Julie in my mastermind these last 6 months, helping her bring this book to the world. And then we got to publish it. And now we are here celebrating her like a big, huge birthday party, but better, because this experience isn't, it's not going to just be you listening. These summits, my intention is that they change you down to your cells, that you come here for an hour, that it cleans something out, that it wakes up new truths, and that you leave with more energy and more passion and more intuition that you had before you got here. So this isn't just like us talking at you. This is an experience, and I have no idea how it's actually going to go, but I can feel it. And it's so magic. It's like fire in my body. So what we're going to do is we're going to just do a nice drop into our bodies. And then I'm going to turn the time over to Julie. So I want everyone to just take a nice deep breath in. If you want to get your hands moving, you can. You're just going to breathe in. And you're going to breathe out, letting go of anything and everything that's weighing you down right now. You're going to breathe in. You're going to breathe out, and you're going to activate fire inside of you, fire of learning, the fire of receiving. And then I want you to just place your hands on your heart. We're just going to soften the heart, allowing you to be here in your delicious energy, your higher vibrational frequency, and inviting you to share tonight if it so calls to you. This space will be a place where you can share as well. And we're just going to call in all of our spiritual team, our divine team. We're going to invite them to come and be with us, to hold the space in this room, in your room, in my room, and in all the rooms, that this will be a pocket of light in your day today. Now, I want to just honor you all for being here. You could all be watching TV. You could all be doing laundry. You could all be doing all the things. And instead you made the time to come here because something in your heart pulled you here. And so I just really honor you for being that human that like said, I'm going to turn the TV off and I'm going to come and be in this, beautiful energy and space, or whatever it is that you were doing, that you made it here. So I just honor you and whatever it took for you to get here. And I want to honor Julie. So Julie is a fire. She is a warrior. If you're ever in her actual presence, it's like vibrational frequencies like come off of her. And it has been such an honor. I might get emotional. It's been such an honor to work with you, Julie, to watch you birth this book, to watch you dance with this book, to watch you breathe with this book. And it's just like so exciting that your book is here, that it is out rippling change throughout the world. So Julie, huge celebration for you. Can you show us your book? Tell us a little bit. How do you feel right now with this book being here?
Yes. So this is my book. It's still so surreal. And thank you for those kind words. And I have more to say on that, but it feels so surreal to hold it in my hands. I feel like this book has been inside of me for years in the making. And this has just been such an incredible process of putting it into writing and having something tangible to actually share. It's the passion's been in my heart about this topic for like years, like decades, and I'm like probably my whole life. So it feels really good to just finally say, from my heart to yours, like this is my dharma, this is my passion, this is the message, the legacy that I want to leave, and to really serve women in reconnecting with their bodies, reconnecting with their passion for life, reconnecting with their intuition, their creativity, their power, their pleasure. I mean, it's all interconnected. And so this is just probably the thing I believe in the most. So I'm really excited to talk more about it. And for those of you that have gotten a copy already and have started reading it, I'm really excited to hear about your experience with it. and what's resonated for you. And I mean, that's why I wrote it. So I'm just so honored to have you all here.
Yeah, 100%. So how we're going to start today is I'm just going to ask Julie some questions, and I'm going to open the space for Julie to speak really her passion. And then we're going to open up the space for you guys to share whatever shows up for you while you're in this call. If you want to ask Julie questions, this is it. This is your opportunity to ask Julie questions. If you want to share what your experience has been like with the book, that will be what will happen. So I want to start with just asking you, Julie, how was it to write this book?
Such a mixed bag. It was transformative, and all my demons came out to play. All my dragons came out to play, because it's a really vulnerable topic. You know, I'm taking spirituality, which is controversial in society, and sexuality, which is absolutely controversial in society. And there's, you know, contention and shame wrapped around both of them. And then I'm weaving them together and being like, yes, they belong together in a way that I think historically, especially in the context of the way I was brought up, was, you know, just not the way these things were often really paired together. And so it felt scary to talk boldly about these things and to share this truth and really be okay with, you know, people not agreeing with it, but because it really is true to me. So writing this book, you know, all of those inner critic thoughts showed up for sure, of what are people going to think, and can I really say this, and what if I change my mind in 1 year from now and I feel differently? You know, like I continue to evolve, and I had to be okay with all of that. And so I think really just deciding to do it anyway, even though it was scary, and even if it was really vulnerable, because a lot of what I share in here is quite personal. I believe in that. Brene Brown is one of my role models, and I've been following her work for several years now, and I really believe in practicing what I preach. And so if I believe in the power of authenticity and vulnerability, like, this is it. You know, I'm like, yes, I wrote a book about masturbation, you know, like, I mean, and now it's a spiritual practice. So, and let's talk about it. It's like the thing you don't do. So anyway, but the actual writing process itself, I couldn't have done it without the other people in the mastermind group, the other souls that were, you know, heart warriors and in that arena with me in vulnerability. Without your leadership and encouragement and reflecting back to me, like, this is valuable, like what you're sharing resonates. And like every woman I've shared it with, they're like, yes, I feel this in my heart too. And that is what has like helped me continue moving forward and continue sharing this and continue talking about it, because I just don't feel like I have to be scared anymore.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It was so beautiful to watch when you would face your demons and you would face these struggles that would want to shut it down, that you use the practices in the book, the practices that you teach in the book is how you wrote the book. So when you would hit your demons, you would get up and you would move and you would dance and you would breathe and you would do all the things that would bring pleasure back into your body. And then you would be able to write again. So it's like the book was the manual for writing the book.
Yeah, I think
So
that's really well said.
So, so I would love to know, what is it, if you could drop in your heart and feel, what do you hope for every person who reads this book? What would be like your dream result for every reader of this book?
I don't think I can boil it down to one thing, because I want them to feel seen first and foremost. Like, you are not alone. This is like, we are in this together. I find so much power in community and connection. I believe in that, like, in my bones. And talking about the things that are often wrapped in shame, I believe in that. And so us being all together, saying me too, right? And even the Me Too movement, like, that was like a part of this. So definitely to feel seen in whatever your experience is, whatever your journey is, whatever your story is. It doesn't have to match mine identically. I just want you to feel seen. And then secondly, to feel inspired to go to those places that are maybe difficult to go to, or ask those questions within your own heart, within your own soul and your own body, and discover the truth that lives there. because the fear and the shame those are the walls that like block us from it. Right. And so I hope you feel inspired and encouraged to, I love that word, encouraged. I've never thought about that before, but like, I hope you feel encouraged to go there and discover that.
No, that feels so good. I love that. I would love, before we open up and invite people to ask questions and just share, could you do like Oracle card your book, right? You're going to just and drop in and let's just see where we land. And I want you to read it.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part of summits. What's going to show up right now?
Okay. I pulled this open to page 105. And I'm just deciding which paragraph to read here. So I guess I'll read the middle one.
Yep.
Permission to feel my feelings and release repressed emotions from the past was only the beginning. I am clearing the cobwebs that have been stuck in my body and clogging up the channels for present experiencing, spiritual intuiting, receiving, communing, and future manifesting. The more of my past that I am able to set free, the more I am able to be present with joy, pleasure, and creativity. I have been able to integrate the wisdom and lessons from my past experiences and even express them playfully through songwriting, poetry, dance, and sharing from an empowered place. I am able to shed identities that no longer fit for me, that were built around protecting my vulnerability and sensitivity. This has allowed my authentic identity to emerge as a powerful, creative, sensitive, independent, unapologetic, compassionate, sovereign, sexual, sensual, spiritual, driven, bold, strong, resilient, playful, grateful, joyful, loving woman.
Oh my gosh, more. How good is that?
I can read.
Yes, read the next one.
I'll read the next paragraph. I still experience suffering. I still feel the full spectrum of human emotions. I'm still learning, healing, practicing, and becoming who I want to be. But I finally know who that is. And holy hell, does that feel amazing. What a contrast it is from the woman I was trying to be, who I had learned to be, who I thought I was supposed to be. I am free to create the life I want to live, to evolve into the woman I desire to be, a woman who inspires me. I am driven by passion, desire, creativity, and joy for life, to continue learning and evolving. I am no longer operating from a default place of shame, fear, proving, or trying to be worthy. I know who the fuck I am, and nobody can take that from me. The thing that got me here, I can confidently say, was experiencing the truth of who I am in my body. It is because of my sensuality, sexuality, and authentic spirituality that I am able to express who I am. The experiences I have had in my body are what speak truth to me, where I commune with God, and how I interact with the world around me, and where I feel the most inspired, happy, and free.
Oh my God. What? Oh my gosh. What a perfect place to land in the book. Right?
You know, that was radical trust right there, Kira. I'm like, what if it's a paragraph I don't like? Like even then, and I'm like, well,
it never goes wrong. It never goes wrong. We're always led to the right piece. And that piece right there, Julie, like that encompasses the whole book.
Yeah.
Right there. Like that is so crazy how that was the one that showed up. I hope everybody here felt that, like the witness of like just being guided. And that's what your book is. Your book is teaching you how to trust here.
Yeah.
And lean in and expand and feel. So, oh gosh, it's so delicious. I'm so grateful you wrote this book. I want to open it up to our beautiful people here in our summit.
Yeah.
If you guys feel called to share something, if you have a question, please jump in, unmute, because I can't see everyone at the same time. So just unmute and say, hey, I want to share, or I have a question. So happy to see all these beautiful faces on here. I know it's kind of like brave to do this.
I'll share.
Yes, please.
So I picked out a place in your book reading this morning, and because I've been kind of going through a little painful moment the last few weeks, which I talked to you about, Julie. So So
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to this book because I just feel like it's freaking helping me so much already. And you're talking about the pain. Oh shoot, I lost it where I was going to go with this. But you're talking about, that through the process, I have a new relationship with pain. I no longer avoid it, run from it, or numb it. I see the value and the purpose in my pain as a necessary part of life with lessons and hidden gifts. And I just thought how beautiful that was for me. It so resonated with me, Julie. And I just really sat with that for the longest time this morning, just thinking about how there are gifts in that pain that I have been through, and how this is, and I knew this book was going to help me pull through a lot of stuff that I'm going through. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that so much. I'm so glad it's resonating and helping. That's a perfect example of how, like, this is an expression of my truth and the wisdom I'm uncovering from my own life lived experiences. And it gets to have its own meaning for you too, right?
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, like the meaning and the wisdom and the hidden gifts in my pain. So I really appreciate you sharing that piece. Thank you.
And another fun part I just want to share with you quick is that because I know you so well, I can hear your voice as I'm reading the book. So I feel like you're reading it to me, and it's really fun.
Oh, I love that. I'm so glad. Yeah. I'm definitely one that I like words. And I apparently am a big fit. My editor and I always went back and forth, and I'm like, but I can't eliminate any of the words in the lists. They're all so important.
Right?
So that's fun.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing, Amy.
Yeah.
This is the magic. This is the magic of why we do summits, is because the author needs to know that the book is getting into people's lives. There's this really like crazy thing that happens after you become an author that you're like, what did I do? Wait, take it back. Wait, I can't. It's on Amazon. Okay, never mind. Right? Like it happens to every author. And so these summits are witnesses that, like, no, it's in the world for a reason. In the world, it's making a difference. So just thank you, Amy, for sharing that. It's so beautiful. I would love Carrie. Yes, please.
Oh, see if I can't do it without crying.
You can cry. Tears
For
are
those
welcome.
that don't know, I'm Julie's mama, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Emotional for me because I've seen such a change in a beautiful way, such a growth in you throughout this process. You know, moms are supposed to teach their children, and I think I learned more from my children than they do for me. And I'm so grateful to learn from you and what you just shared reading. Hit me in a personal level, not just because of what I've seen your life go through, because I've seen you from day one, but also for myself. So thank you for being strong. It's hard to do this. Thank you for being strong and being who you are and finding out who the fuck you are and standing strong in that, because you're amazing. And I just am in awe of you and grateful for you sharing this book. And I have 3 copies of it. And I've shared it already I have 1 copy out already to Katie read half of it while she was in town.
Oh, good.
And now it's at her mom Janet's house. Katie's my niece, and her mom is my sister, for those that don't know. And I'm sharing it because you're incredible, and I haven't personally started reading it. What a bad mom, but I'm not a bad mom. But I just wanted, I'm not bad. I cut that cord a long time ago. And I'm just really grateful that I get to be part of this journey with you, and I get to continue in this journey with you. So thank you for being you and being authentic to yourself and being able to come out on top for how you are and be able to help others through that. So I love you so much.
I love you too, Mama. Thank you so much for the beautiful words. Like I receive all of that, and this process wouldn't have been the same without your support and without your love and acceptance. And one thing I think is so noteworthy and profound, it's something that's sacred, is the connection that we have that has taken time to build, and we've overcome some things in our own relationships. One of the big pieces that I talk about in my book is about spirituality and going through a faith crisis, and discovering my authentic identity and stepping away from things that I was taught in my childhood. And like, who was there for my childhood but my mom, and like, I don't blame you or any of that. Like, there
Nope.
is no
No.
resentment or negativity there, but it's just me following my path, right? And like me
Yeah.
following what was true for me. And the fact that I had a mother that was open-hearted enough to say, this is scary, this is not what I know, this is not what I expected for you, not what I anticipated for you, right? Like, but to still be open-hearted enough and curious enough to say, but I want to know you, and I want to love you and support you in being that authentic part of yourself. Like, that's a luxury and a privilege that many people don't have, especially going through a process like that. That's a faith transition that's so integral in our communities. I just really want to celebrate what we have done together, and you specifically, and like being my mom and showing the freak up for like just loving me and accepting me and like seeing me. Thank you.
You're easy to accept. Kira said it right when she said at the beginning, like, man, if you know Julie and you've been in her space for even 5 minutes, you feel that energy. And it's just, every time I hug Julie, she says, how are you? And I am perfect right that minute, because you've got such a beautiful soul that just, I don't want to let go of. Anytime I get a chance to have you in my arms, because you do have such a beautiful spirit and a beautiful energy that, man, the world is blessed to get to know you through this book.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Carrie, thank you for sharing. That is what a healing thing for everyone to watch between a mother and a daughter. Like, thank you guys for bringing that here. This is really beautiful. Beautiful. And I got a message in here from Tara. So Tara, if you want to unmute and if you want to share or ask a question, whatever is present for you, we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, thank you. It was just really inspiring to hear those words between the two of you and the navigation of your journey. And I'm just really deeply celebrating that. And Julie, you are the ultimate word artist. One of the passages that stood out to me, I mean, how can we choose one? But here's one. So I'd like to share, because I think that you as the embodiment of this is a huge reason that this book just speaks to both the soul and the energy and the human all in one. So on page 77, you wrote, humanity is the way to expanded spirituality. We can remember we are spiritual beings of consciousness having a human experience and deeply embody that truth. The body is the pathway of humanity. Our electromagnetic field is housed in the structure of the body. And the way that you live your life and what you share on Instagram, and just the way that you dance and move and be and exist, and bringing people into that and offering them the opportunity to be human inside of a maybe disconnected human existence is just so luscious and delicious. And I've shared this book with so many of my clients, and they drink it up and they simultaneously want to gulp it and savor it. And I think that is the magic of who and what you are. And I just want to thank you for that and for putting this out there and walking the path and being on the journey. It's been very inspiring to read the book and reread the book. And yeah, that passage just stood out, and I wanted to bring some more light to it here.
Thank you so much for sharing that and highlighting that passage. Like even as you're reading it, I was like, I wrote that. I love that. Like that is what I believe in. So like I felt inspired by it, and that was a really cool moment to experience that. And I was like, yes, can we just dance together? And like, do you all want to just like get up and move, because it feels really good to just be talking about this. So yeah, thank you for that reflection.
Yes, cheers to you.
Kara, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is so fun. I got a message from Angel. We're going to invite Angel to unmute and share. Angel was also part of the mastermind when Julia's in it. So we have a lot of love flowing here. Angel, what do you want to share?
Aloha, Miss Julie.
Aloha, beautiful.
I want to share with everyone that I met Julie in person last March. It was at a writer's retreat, and being in her presence, listening to her talk, I just found myself saying, yes, yes, yes. I was like, geez, it sounds like I'm going to have an orgasm over here. Like she is the epitome of intellectual orgasm and embodied. So I've been anxiously awaiting this book. And I just want, for the record, because I have you as witnesses and it's being recorded, that I finished my manuscript August 28th, and I was in Hawaii, and I mailed it into the editor, and you had shared with us that your book was out. And so I was like, well, I'm headed home to Utah on the 29th, so I'm going to mail it. So I ordered it on Amazon and mailed it home. So I want you to note the timeline difference. My book was written and I hadn't read hers last night, because last night I opened it up wanting to get into it, and I started reading the introduction, and my husband's in bed next to me, and he keeps looking at me because I go, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm on page 1. And he's like, finally, he's like, what? Share with me. And I said, I start reading sentences, and then I just look at him, and then I read a few more and I look at him, and I was like, she's speaking my language. She's telling my story. She's sharing my words. And I'm really intense. And he goes, you mean like plagiarism? And I started laughing. And I was like, for the record, so when my book comes out, it's going to sound like plagiarism. We both are divinely designed by the same creator. And we both have been guided to these same truths, even the same wording and experiences in so many ways. So I just wanted to celebrate you, that I'm so excited that you've had the courage to write what most people don't know from a place of ignorance and innocence. They don't know how to explore it. They don't go there because there's a barrier of shame and guilt. So they don't even try to climb over that wall. It's like a fortress. Now, not only has Warrior Julie been willing to climb that wall, she's wrecked it. She's wrecked it. Like, you bulldoze through the wall in order to expose the truth, because the truth is on the other side of fear and shame. And the truth, as scary or uncomfortable as it might make us feel, like, I love your term solo, solo sex. It feels so sacred. Whereas the word and the connotation of like masturbation has so much fear. But I resonate with what you share and what you've experienced. And it's been a master key that has unlocked my creative passions and genius, what I would call my divine feminine energy, or the goddess angel in me. That was all shut down with the shutdown of sexuality and the lack of being able to know myself or talk about it or explore. So that's all turned on, just like you share. And then it radiates everywhere. It's in my work. It's in my writing. It's in my parenting. Like, I love that you are bringing this to light. And my relationship with my husband is so passionate and connected because of the things you teach. Last concept, I just want to laugh about how similar we are. I'm going to go back to my screenshot of me. Will you all take a look at my outfit? And now look at Julie's outfit. Like, if we're not soul sisters, I don't know who is. So celebrating you, Julie, this is big. I can't wait to have you come speak at my forums and just to champion you. Thank you, lady, for being a light.
Oh, Angel, I'm drinking your words and I'm receiving them. So I adore you, and thank you for that reflection. Thank you for that share. And for the record, I have no fears or concerns at all of any plagiarism, because I feel that, and I remember that retreat, and I was like in awe of you, because I was like, you're this reflection, you're this mirror, and And I remember it was one evening we were talking, and we were talking about this transition from competition to collaboration. And in writing these words, I shared that fear where I'm like, oh, but like, what if someone has said this before? Or, what about that? And I think the phrase came up that like, the truth will be spoken, not out of the words, not out of the mouths of one, but out of the mouths of many, right? Like truth resonates from the mouths of many. And so I'm so grateful that you are also publishing a book. So I'm not out there standing alone, being like the only one that's easy to get stoned, right? Easy to get dismissed. Like when we all
No.
stand together and
Yeah.
share the truth, like
We will not be burned.
we will not be burned. And so just that is how I feel about it. I don't know if it made it in the book or not. I think I mentioned like go in and go up. That was yours. And I think I said my friend Angel. I don't know if I put your last name because I didn't know which one to use, but but I've used that several times since. So just thank you for being you as well and
Love
standing
you.
next to me.
Mhm.
Magical. That's what this energy is. This is the energy of when we gather together and we all step into our power. And one of the things that came to me when you were talking, Angel, was how Wayne Dyer said, anytime he met somebody on his path who had the same message, he gathered them in his arms and he said, welcome, partner. Because there is to build the truth in the world, to wake up new truths, to go for it as warriors. We cannot do it alone. We have to link arms with those whose purposes align. And I just love that you two aligned there in Missouri in that magical space. And here you are. Julie's book is out. Angel, your book is going to be published very soon. Just so much wisdom and magic in this space. So thank you, Angel, for sharing. And I love that you guys literally have the same color on. Like, how perfect was that?
It's perfect.
So good. Is there anyone else that either has questions for Julie or that wants to share? This is like the funnest. I'm so grateful you guys are sharing. This is so great.
I'll share.
Yes.
If no one's okay. So Julie, I'm new to you. I actually got this invite maybe 10 minutes before, thank gosh, from Angel before showing up. And when you pulled the oracle or maybe the part of your book, when we were just guided to what you read first, I just wanted to cry because the reason or my excuse for not being here was because of the pain I'm holding on to and letting go of the past and not being able to be present because that's what feels like is in the way. And being in your presence with everybody else has got me to that same point of being present where I'm like, this is what I'm looking for. And then Kiara, you just said it perfectly, like doing it together, even though I don't know you and you don't know me and we haven't met, but knowing that there's an underline of truth and divinity and love that's like unified in one setting is so like, it's heartfelt. It's so beautiful. And I really appreciated when you said that your dragons came out because I haven't been in the summit with Kiara yet. And I started my book through a channel and already chapter 1, I am meeting those dragons like full on like, and so when you shared your resistance and you were honest with the birthing of your process, it was like, yeah, it's beautiful and it's published and it's here, but let me show you the underbelly of what it took for me to have that courage. I just thought, oh my gosh, like I needed to hear that for many reasons, being a baby author and feeling like a baby, quite literally, because it's like writing a chapter. And I love what you said. You said it's like it was healing me, and it was what was for me first before it was for the world. And so I write a chapter and then I find, oh my gosh, like I have a lot of things coming up just from this one chapter. And so it's this beautiful dance, like you say, of writing and then healing and then writing and then healing. And oh my gosh, thank you. I don't know who you are. And I'm so glad to have met you because it gives me courage to go back to the page where I haven't wanted to write for the last 3 days because what I feel like is my truth is so big. And it's so beautiful to have a community where it's like, I give you permission to speak what's been heavy and to release the past. So thank you for your inspiration and impacting people like me who are like, oh my gosh, let me be a part of this. So thank you.
Thank you so much for those words. And it's nice to meet you. And thanks for showing up here. And I don't think thank you is potent enough, but I can't wait to read what you write and what you create and to be another sister next to us, Freedom House authors are on that front line. You're very well spoken, and your words are, I'm like drinking them up too, just like Angel. So I can tell why you guys are connected. So, so thank you for that. It's
Thank
nice to
you.
have you here.
And for sure, Julie, you need to go to my Instagram from Friday, because I channeled with her. I channeled with Bree on Friday, and holy hell, what came through in that channel session. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. So Bree, no, like, girl, you came tonight to be reminded. Julie she gets to be that vision, the mirror of what's possible for you in so many ways.
Yes. Thank you.
You got this. I'm so excited for you. It's the beginning.
Anyone else want to jump in? All right. I am so grateful. So grateful. It changes the energy of a summit when people are willing to jump in and share and ask questions. What I'm feeling is, Julie, I want you to just drop in your heart. And if what is there that you just would love to share with these beautiful beings who are here live, and then those who are going to be watching the replay? What's super loud for you?
I really feel called to highlight something that has been showing up a lot for me recently. And I call myself a sensuality and embodiment coach. And, Angel, her words are so beautiful. I've never heard this word. What was it? Like intellectual orgasmic or something? And I was like, I will take that. That's like, I'm a sapiosexual myself. So I'm like, yes, that's like quite the compliment. So thank you. But we talk so much when we're talking about embodiment, we talk so much about getting out of our heads and into our bodies, or dropping away from our minds and into our heart. And I really feel that they can actually be friends. I really feel that our conscious mind it can be the observer of our experience, and it can be the one that notices things, that picks up on things and can direct us. And Jessica, I don't know how to say her last name, but Jessica in the mastermind group.
Tejan.
Thank you. Jessica Tejan, she says, our minds ask the questions for our hearts to answer. And I think that's such a beautiful quote that exemplifies how they can be friends. So in my book, I talk about embodiment practices and sensuality and going inward. And the quote that Tara shared tonight was about, how can we embody the truth of who we are as spiritual beings having an embodied human experience? And I think it's both, right? It's the conscious mind and the embodiment. So I think for me, I have a lot of fun with the brain games. I have a lot of fun with, philosophy and analyzing things and thinking of things and playing with words and all of that. Like, it's fun. And that's a part of the way that I play and part of the way that I create. But then when we talk about things, I just think it's been the missing link, the doing, right? It's the thinking and the doing. And I don't know why I feel called to share that, but I felt called to share it, that it's removing a judgment or something of, being thought leaders or having a new way of framing something that can have so much potency and power and magic that creates an emotion for someone else. Like, it's channeled through your heart, but it's also, with your brilliance. And so I think that's one piece of it. And then the other piece is then the emphasis on the embodiment, the emphasis on the doing, the experiencing that I can't describe in enough words, right? No amount of words is going to describe better than the feeling itself will teach, right? And so I want to just emphasize that piece of it, that if you feel inspired by the words that I wrote or a passage or anything like that, I really just want to emphasize and invite you to try it. And then I would love to hear about your experience. Carla, I think there's a question. See a hand raised.
Yes, Carla, we would love to hear from you.
Oh, you're muted, I think.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so
Hi.
yes, I am raising my hand. So I have been following along all along with Angel. She's begun this process of writing her book, and I always thought that wasn't for me. I always thought, no way, no way, no way. And I'm starting to kind of feel that little nudge of maybe there is something there that I have to say or to speak. So would you speak on how that process evolved for any of you that are writing? Like, how did you know? And I love what you said about the conscious mind, and because I I'm struggling with that. So thank you for sharing that, because they can be friends, and that gives me hope. But how did you kind of come to that conclusion, or take that leap of faith? That's my question.
I want to make sure I'm answering the question you're asking. So which conclusion specifically? And are you talking about the leap of faith to write the book, or?
Yes.
So the conclusion of writing, okay. So
that this was your calling, or that you had something worth sharing, or that, it, just to put it out there, I guess, because it's big. I mean, I can see your fear in this. The other thing is, I'm so glad you did this, because like my desire is to work with youth. And I keep thinking, if I had the knowledge that my body was my friend and not my enemy, and that my sexual urges were my power and not my foe,
yeah.
at much younger age, then maybe, I want to help empower the younger generation to see themselves as a cohesive unit, rather than to be afraid of who they are and what they can do. So thank you for that too.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, and for such a thoughtful question. The first thing that came to me was actually unexpected, even to me, I think, but I guess when I think about it, maybe not so much. I think there was some sacred rage that drove it, right? Like, I needed power, I needed energy to fight those dragons, and to do something that's scary and hard. And so I needed that momentum. And I think that's actually what started it for me. I started discovering these things for myself. I think originally my discomfort drove me to figure out healing, right? Like, I don't want to be in this experience anymore. So I have to pursue something different. And so I went on a journey to find that different. And then when I discovered truth for myself, when I discovered that something different, I'm like, we're not told this. What the heck? It's like some giant conspiracy that, like, we're not in the know. And do you know how much easier it would have been if I had known what I didn't know? And so I think that's why I went on this crusade of like, somebody's got to do something about this, and like, let other people know. And the only way I know how to do that is not by preaching, but by sharing, right? Like, I'm not going to go out there and tell you what you need to do. I'm going to share what worked for me. And I'm going to share my anger and my frustration. And one of the chapters in my book is befriending the body. So I loved your language on that. And secondly, where should we begin? Like, where do I begin is with my inner child. And that's where I did a lot of my healing, is how do I teach her? How do I reparent myself? Love you, Mom. How do I, teach myself the things that I didn't know, and ask the questions, which I think is really key, to just be willing to ask the questions that weren't safe to ask before, or to admit that I don't know it, and just stay curious always. But yeah, the anger, the rage that this isn't available, or hasn't been available, or has been suppressed, has been, misinformation has been spread. I think I felt on fire about it. And then I also felt like equally passionate about what I was experiencing. And I'm like, I want every woman to experience this level of freedom and joy and truth in her own body. So I think they kind of pair together. Like, the rage was a part of it. And then I kind of transmuted that to like, but I'm not going to do it in that kind of a way. I'm going to honor the rage. I'm going to express the rage, but I'm not going to only do it with aggression. I'm going to do it with joy. And that is going to be the weapon that I use, and through creativity, and through orgasms that are like my sacred rebellion. And I'm going to have an orgasm every single day to tackle the freaking patriarchy, because I figured out the truth, like, that's how I feel. I hope I answered your question. I kind of went on a bit of a rant.
No, you did, and I agree 100% with that, because you know, the learning to unlearn,
Yeah.
you know, the programming that just, I mean, I love the phrase cognitive dissonance, because it was so disconnected and didn't make sense.
Mhm.
And, you know, I felt like I was made to vibrate on that level.
Mhm.
And yet I was so shamed for it from the very young age. But
Yeah.
it was just me. So having you have the courage to be able to use that anger and express it, you know, thank you for sharing that, because I feel like the world is evolving into a space, and it seems like there's a pendulum swing,
Mhm.
and there's sacred, and then there's just kind of yucky, right?
Mhm.
And having the contrast with the sacred aspect is so powerful. So thank you for that. And you did answer my question. That helped a lot. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much for your question.
Also, that's the magic that I was talking about. What y'all just experienced, Julie, like when she wakes up her fierce warrior, you're like, whoa, okay, someone's come to play. And it's like my favorite thing, Julie. So thank you for bringing your fire, your warrior. I love that. An orgasm a day to fight against the patriarchy. It's, can we please quote that somewhere? That just feels real quotable.
Yeah. I'll make a note.
Yeah, that feels good. So I want to just honor you, Julie, for this magic that you brought. I want you to just feel the healing that's taking place in the world just by what you've said yes to. You leaned in, even when the demons showed up, even when the self-doubt showed up, even when, you know, your mind that is so brilliant wanted to write the whole damn thing, and you'd be like, no, I will get in my heart, I will wake it up, I will jump into pleasure, and I'm going to write it from here. Like, I watched that happen, and I honor you, because that was a battle. And
Yeah.
you brought it through with the perfect dance of your mind and your soul and your body. And this is the tip. This is literally the tip of the iceberg. There's so much that you're going to bring into the world. Tell us, how can they work with you? Where can they find your work? Like all the things, because people who are going to watch this are going to be flying your way.
Totally. And I welcome that, like communities like this, spaces like this, containers like this, when we're all doing it together. I believe in that the most, of just creating a collective. And I do offer one-on-one coaching as well to just dive deep. I think sometimes there's something really special about that intimate one-on-one space as well. So I do offer that, and I value that. But right now I'm really emphasizing creating a container. And so I was hoping to get it launched, you know, in like October, and then time is not always what I expected to be. So I'll probably launch a mastermind for sacred sexuality, so that I can really take my time with curating that container of women. So if you are interested in doing a mastermind with me in that kind of a group, talking about these topics, doing the healing work, practicing them together, I invite you to reach out to me directly. I'll make sure to post my email. Email is the best way of just getting in direct contact with me, so I can give you the details on that, and that we can kind of schedule a time to chat about your goals. But that's the best way. And then I'm going to also be offering retreats as well. So I have one coming up that's already full for the end of this month, that I'm collaborating with a friend of mine, Aubrey Starton, and she's a Qigong facilitator as well as a yoga instructor, and she's just oozes like creativity and joy and sex, and I like am so excited to collaborate with her. So I'll be offering retreats either by myself or with collaboration with like really fantastic, awesome women periodically throughout the year. So the next one will probably be in January, and then there will be another one with another sister of mine in February, and then they're just going to keep rolling on out. So jump on in when you're ready.
And what is your social media? Because I think the best way is if people can just DM you. That's like texting. What's your social media?
Perfect. Yes. So it's Julie B, JULIEB _live free.
Will you put it in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So everyone here, go follow Julie. If you haven't gotten her book, put it also in the chat. Julie, actually, I'm going to just pull it up on Amazon. I'll throw it in the chat. So
Okay.
let me grab it really quick. Then everyone who is interested can go grab it. And then I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that, oh, our podcast that we did was so powerful. That I'm going to be emailing that podcast out to everybody who is here.
Amazing.
Yep. And if you didn't get on the email list, maybe put your email in the chat. That way I can email you that. I'm going to put the link here to her book. And everyone go grab it. Go grab her book. Go grab a few of them. Heaven knows everybody needs some help in this area. We were raised in a very tight, confined space. And I know we're kind of running out of time, so people need to head out. That's okay. But this just keeps coming in loud. And so I just feel like let's bring this topic here before we leave. And if people have to head out, you will get this recording as long as you make sure you are on the email list or you put your email in the chat. Can you talk to us about how you use orgasmic energy in manifestation? I feel like Napoleon Hill talks about this, but he doesn't. Bless Napoleon Hill. He's one of my favorites. I love him, but he doesn't explain it in a way that makes sense. And you came in and you talked about it, and I think you bring it into layman terms. And so I'd love for you to share that, because this is one of my favorite things. I think this is something we need to talk about.
Totally. Great question. And I honestly, like, it was hard to put into words in that chapter I wrote about sexual manifesting. It was very, like, I think that one was very much like, here's the formula. So for me, sexual manifesting and using that energy for that, it kind of piggybacks off of the divine as a lover, right? So when I give myself permission to have fantasy, when I'm in a solo sex practice, it's an emotion, it's an expression, it's an experience where if my hands are an expression of my heart and how am I touching my body, I'm kind of being my own lover in that. But then what am I inviting in? I'm inviting in the divine as a lover. And that's kind of like energy work, right? It's energetic. There's visualizations, there's imagery to that. It's love. So I'm bringing that in with my breath as I flex my pelvic floor, and I'm drawing that into my body with my yoni. And then I'm expanding into that pleasure, right? So just that's in and of itself, that's like the divine as a lover. And it's going to look different for everybody, but that's like the mechanics of it and the emotional experience of it. And so when I apply that to manifesting, I'm still connecting to the same energy and emotion. So say abundance, for example. I'm not like going to be up here and be like money, 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 but like, what does that feel like to be abundant? What does that look like? How do I imagine that? And what would it feel like if I already was that? And can I call that into reality through my yoni, through my breath, through my, like what am I saying OMG yes to when I'm orgasming? It's that. And so for me, that's kind of how I braid them together, is either through affirmations of I am worthy, right? And I will have an orgasm and a climax to that feeling of like, it feels so good to capture that love, right? It feels so good to feel that way, to feel abundant and to feel expansive, and like making money is fun and creativity brings in abundance, right? Or the dream that I have. I don't just have a business plan and a business model like, oh, I'd like to make this amount of money or have this kind of accomplishment or this kind of house or whatever it is. But what is that dream, right? And that's not very different than a fantasy, but I'm making love to that. And so in that way, I'm making love to life, and that's how I'm bringing that in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I'm not a teacher on this, but I am a teacher on rewiring the brain. This is something I'm doing all the time. And it's so beautiful to see that it's the orgasmic creation energy that rewires how we feel about something. And so I love how you explain it, of like, bring in the abundance feeling while you're in that energy. Now you're going to rewire your brain to feel that every time you think about abundance, every time you think about your business, it's connected into your cellular makeup. So I'm so happy you brought that here, because that is something that everybody who leaves here today can practice, which will absolutely change their experiences in life. And I felt like I wanted a practice for everyone to be able to leave with today, so that this pocket of time changes everyone's lives. That's what we want to have happen, right?
It's a brilliant question. And the only other piece I'll add to it is full bodied expression of it. Right. So I'm talking about like, here's what I do, the mechanics of the breath and the yoni and the imagery and all of that. But sometimes it's also through movement, right? It's through joy. It's through the expression of, and so it is. Right. And so it is. And this is what it looks like. And this is who I am. And I'm not faking it, because I'm connected to the essence of that. So that's the only piece I'd add to it.
I love it. I love it. Well, this gets to leave us on such a high level of energy. I hope you all feel different. Compared to what it was when we started an hour ago, I want you to just notice your body. So close your eyes and just feel your body and notice how the vibrations are moving through you better, how you have maybe more energy than you did before you got here, that you have more hope, more excitement, more pleasure moving through your body. It's just really honoring yourself for being here, for showing up, for being in this space, for sharing, for being so vulnerable, so open-hearted, for being the brilliant humans that you are. So thank you. And then just massive thank you to Julie. Like, I am so grateful that last November you joined the mastermind, that we got to be in this magic together. And I'm so honoring you for walking the mountains, for going into the pits, for facing the dark and bringing it out in light. Just really honor you, Julie.
Thank you so much for your leadership, for your support, for doing the same thing. That is authentic leadership. So thank you for Freedom House and everything that it is.
Such
and
a blessing.
Everyone for showing up. Truly, I know I've said it all night, but thank you for being the reason that I did this. Thanks for showing up.
I love it. So as we always end, Julie, I'm going to give you the last words. I want to thank everyone for being here. We're going to finish up with Julie. If you want to drop in your heart and just give us one last nugget of goodness before we all head off to our nights.
Have fun with the process. It can get so easy when we're talking about shame and fear and all these different things and self-development and growth and all that. Like even in therapy, it's so easy to get serious about it, but like have fun with the process and wherever you are, figure out, like, laugh at yourself, embrace the innocence, the childlike essence of curiosity. It's okay to not know. There's a ton of stuff I still don't know and I'm still discovering. I'm probably going to change my mind about a bunch of things in a year from now. And like, that's part of being human. So I think this the biggest thing is just have fun being playful with the process and getting to know your body and getting to know your pleasure and like discovering new things.
Well, that's a holy hell yes. All right, well, friends, thank you for coming. As always, if you want to learn how to be an author with Freedom House, just send over a message to me on Instagram, Kira Polson. I am here to support authors and bringing their messages through. Go grab Julie's book. Go follow her. Go to her retreat. Be in her mastermind. Be in her delicious energy. Your lives will change. And I will see you all at the next summit. Come to all of them. Have a beautiful night, guys. See ya.
Bye.